The massive alien ship appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system like a dark metal mountain. The vessel was so large that it blocked out stars as it moved slowly toward the small blue planet. Its name was Convergence, and it carried the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Ambassador Lee Hanna stood at the window of her office on Luna Station, watching the alien ship approach. She had been Earth's voice to the Galactic Council for 10 years now. In all that time, she had never seen the Council send such a huge ship to Earth. Something was very wrong. Her communication device buzzed. A deep, mechanical voice spoke in perfect human language. Ambassador Lee Hanna of Earth, you will report to the Convergence immediately for an urgent council meeting. This is not a request. Lee Hanna smiled, but it was not a happy smile. She knew that tone. The aliens were angry about something, and they wanted to make humans pay for it. 2 hours later, Lee Hanna found herself in the Council's great meeting hall. The room was enormous, with 12 giant chairs arranged in a circle. Each chair held a different alien species, and all of them were looking down at her small human form in the center. High Counselor Vextar was the leader of the council. His species looked like tall, thin humans covered in gray skin with 4 arms and glowing yellow eyes. He had ruled the council for over 300 years, and his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. Human, Vextar said, his voice echoing through the hall. Your species has become a problem. Lee Hanna kept her face calm, but her heart was beating fast. What kind of problem, High Counselor? Another alien, this one covered in thick blue fur with 6 legs, leaned forward. You humans spread too fast. In 50 years, you have taken 47 star systems. This is not normal for a young species. A third alien, looking like a giant insect with crystal wings, clicked its mandibles. Your weapons are too dangerous. This quantum phase technology you develop threatens the peace of the galaxy. Lee Hanna listened to each complaint. She had heard similar words before, but never from the full council gathered together like this. They were building up to something big. High Counselor Vexitar raised one of his 4 hands for silence. The Galactic Council has made a decision. For the safety and stability of all civilized species, Earth and all human colonies will be placed under protective custody. You will surrender all military forces, all government authority, and all dangerous research. The Council will manage human affairs from this day forward. The hall fell silent. Lee Hanna could hear her own breathing in the quiet. This was it. The moment every human leader had feared might come someday. The aliens wanted to take over completely. We understand. This is a big change, Vextar continued, but it is necessary. Young species often make mistakes that hurt everyone. The Council has 10,000 years of experience keeping peace in the galaxy. We know what is best. Lee Hanna looked around the circle of alien faces. Some looked bored, as if this was just routine business. Others seemed excited, like they were looking forward to controlling the troublesome humans. A few appeared almost sorry, but not sorry enough to speak against the decision. What if we refuse? Lee Hanna asked quietly. The question seemed to surprise the council members. Several of them made sounds that might have been laughter in their species. Refuse. Vextar's yellow eyes glowed brighter. Little human, look around. You. The Council controls 800,000 star systems. Our combined fleets number in the millions of ships. Your entire species has perhaps 8,000 vessels spread across your tiny territory. The insect alien clicked again. Your technology is 50 years behind ours. Your population is smaller than some of our individual member species. What could you possibly do to resist the will of the Council? Lee Hanna was quiet for a long moment. She thought about Earth, about the colonies, about all the humans who had worked so hard to build their civilization among the stars. She thought about her own children back on Earth, and what kind of future they would have under alien rule. Then, unexpectedly, she started to laugh. It began as a small chuckle, but grew into full, genuine laughter. Lee Hanna laughed so hard that tears came to her eyes. She laughed until her sides hurt, and she had to hold on to the speaking platform to keep from falling over. The council members looked at each other in confusion. This was not the reaction they had expected. Is the human having some kind of mental breakdown? The blue-furred alien asked. Vexitar leaned forward in his chair. Ambassador Lihana, explain your behavior. Lihana wiped the tears from her eyes and took a deep breath. I'm sorry, High Counselor. It's just that your offer is so generous, so very, very generous. Offer? Vextar's voice carried a dangerous edge. This is not an offer. This is a command. Of course, Lihana nodded, still smiling. And I promise to deliver your command to Earth's leadership immediately. They will be very interested to hear what the Council has decided. You have 72 standard hours to arrange the surrender, Vextar said. After that time, Council fleets will begin enforcement actions. I trust you understand what that means. Lihana bowed politely. I understand perfectly, High Counselor. Thank you for explaining the situation so clearly. As she was escorted back to her shuttle, Lihana could hear the council members talking among themselves. They seemed puzzled by her reaction, but not worried. Why should they worry? They had all the power, all the ships, all the advantages. The shuttle ride back to Luna Station gave Lihana time to think. She activated her secure communication system and sent a priority message to Earth. President Kim, this is Ambassador Lee. The Council has issued an ultimatum. Full surrender in 72 hours or they attack. I'm transmitting all details now. Also, sir, I think it's time. On Earth, President Kim Tae-ho received the message in his office in New Geneva. He was a tall man with graying hair and calm eyes that had seen many crises. He read through the Council's demands twice, then leaned back in his chair. Admiral Park, he said to his military advisor, please ask all department heads to meet in the main conference room. And Admiral, activate Protocol 7. Admiral Park Chung nodded and left the office. He had been waiting for this day for 20 years. 2 hours later, President Kim stood before the full Global Federation Council. Representatives from every nation and every human colony were present, either in person or by holographic link. The chamber held over 1,000 people. Kim read the alien ultimatum aloud, word for word. He explained what the Galactic Council wanted, what they threatened, and how long humanity had to decide. When he finished reading, the chamber was completely silent for exactly 3 seconds. Then someone in the back started to chuckle. The chuckle became a laugh, and the laugh spread through the chamber like wildfire. Within moments, every person in the room was laughing. Some laughed so hard they had to hold their sides. Others were wiping tears from their eyes. The laughter went on for nearly 5 minutes. President Kim waited for the chamber to quiet down, then activated the main communication array that would broadcast his response to every human settlement in the galaxy. To the honored members of the Galactic Council, he said, his voice carrying clearly through space. We have received your generous offer to manage our affairs for us. After careful consideration by the democratically elected representatives of all humanity, we must respectfully decline. We appreciate your concern for our welfare, but we have been taking care of ourselves just fine so far. He paused, then added with a slight smile, we wish you the very best with your future endeavors. The message was transmitted on all frequencies, reaching every human ship, every colony, every outpost. And everywhere humans heard it, the response was the same. Laughter. Deep in space, aboard hidden vessels and secret bases that the Council had never detected, other messages were being sent. Admiral Park's Protocol 7 had been in place for decades, waiting for exactly this moment. The real war was about to begin, and the Galactic Council had no idea what they had just started. High Counselor Vextar stared at the communication screen in disbelief. Around him, the other council members were making various sounds of confusion and anger. In 10,000 years of galactic history, no species had ever responded to a council ultimatum with laughter. Play the message again, Vextar ordered. The human president's words filled the chamber once more, polite but firm. The casual way he declined their demands, as if he was refusing an invitation to dinner rather than the overwhelming force of the galaxy's most powerful alliance. "They must not understand," said Counselor Mordak, the blue-furred representative. "Perhaps their translation systems are faulty. No intelligent species would refuse the Council's protection when faced with such obvious military disadvantage." War Prime Kelnos, the Council's supreme military commander, stepped forward. His species resembled giant armored reptiles, and his scarred hide told the story of countless battles across the galaxy. "High Counselor, I request permission to review the human military capabilities. Perhaps a demonstration of our strength will help them see reason." Vextar nodded. "Do it. Show us exactly what these humans think they can accomplish against the might of the Council." The Great Hall's central display activated, showing a detailed map of human space. Red dots marked human colonies, blue dots showed Council fleet positions, and green indicators revealed the location of every known human military vessel. Kelnos pointed to the display with one clawed hand. "Humans control 47 star systems. Our intelligence shows they have approximately 8,000 military vessels of various sizes. Their largest ships are what they call dreadnoughts, roughly half the size of our standard battle cruisers." He manipulated the display to show ship comparisons. "Human weapons technology appears to be kinetic-based projectile systems, primitive compared to our plasma and particle beam weapons. Their defensive systems rely on metal armor and basic energy shields, while our vessels use quantum-reinforced hulls and multi-layered barrier fields." Another Council member, a being that looked like living crystal, chimed in with a sound like breaking glass. "What about their expansion rate? They have spread very quickly for such a young species." "Numbers without context," Kelnos replied. "Yes, they have colonized many systems, but look at the scale. Their colonies are often single planets with populations in the millions. Some of our member species have individual cities larger than entire human worlds." The display zoomed in on Earth's solar system. Their home system shows minimal military presence. Long-range sensors detect perhaps 50 vessels in Earth orbit, and most appear to be cargo ships or civilian transports. Either they are supremely confident, or they are even more primitive than we estimated. Vextar studied the information carefully. "What about their industrial capacity?" "Limited," Kelnos said. "They have shipyards in 12 systems, but their production rate is perhaps 1/10 of what a major Council species can achieve. At their current manufacturing speed, it would take them 300 years to match even our smallest member's fleet." On a hidden observation post at the edge of the Sol system, Captain Cho Jiwon watched the massive Council fleet through her instruments. The alien vessels hung in space like a metal cloud, their formation perfect and intimidating. She counted the ships carefully, 52,000 vessels of various sizes. "Impressive," she said to her tactical officer, Lieutenant Bayek Minho. "They really want to make sure we understand how outgunned we are." "Should we report their numbers to Fleet Command?" Minho asked. Cho smiled. "Oh, I'm sure Admiral Park already knows exactly how many ships they brought. The question is whether they know how many ships we have." The captain activated her secure communication system and sent a brief message to Earth. "Guests have arrived for the party. They brought friends. Lots of friends." Back aboard the Convergence, War Prime Kelnos was explaining his battle plan to the Council. "The strategy is simple and efficient. We will divide our forces into 13 battle groups. The largest group, 30,000 ships, will secure the Sol system and accept Earth's surrender. The remaining groups will simultaneously capture the 12 most important human colonies." He gestured to the display, which now showed attack routes and timing. Human ships are spread throughout their territory on patrol and cargo duties. They cannot possibly concentrate their forces quickly enough to mount effective resistance. I estimate complete victory within 6 standard days. "What about casualties?" asked the crystal being. "Minimal on our side," Kelnos replied. "Perhaps a few hundred ships lost to human desperation attacks. Their weapons simply cannot penetrate our defenses effectively." High Counselor Vextar approved the plan with a gesture. "Begin the attack immediately. I want this matter resolved quickly and cleanly. Other young species are watching to see how we handle human defiance." The Council fleet began to move toward Earth, their formation spreading out like a giant net designed to catch and crush any resistance. The ships were beautiful in their own way, sleek vessels that represented the pinnacle of galactic military technology. On Earth, General Bayek Hyunwoo sat in the Global Defense Command Center, surrounded by dozens of screens showing tactical information from across human space. He was a quiet man who had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. "Sir," called out one of his analysts, "Council fleet is advancing on our position. ETA 4 hours until they reach Mars orbit." "Any sign of human fleet response?" "General," Beck asked. "No, sir. All our ships appear to be maintaining normal patrol patterns. No emergency recalls, no battle formations." General Bayek nodded thoughtfully. "And our orbital defense platforms?" "Operating normally, sir. No weapons charged, no combat alerts." A young officer looked confused. "Sir, shouldn't we be preparing our defenses?" "The enemy will be here in 4 hours." General Bayek turned to look at the officer, his expression serious but not worried. "Son, the enemy has been coming for 50 years. We've been ready for them since before you were born." He activated his command console and sent a single, coded message to Admiral Park Seung wherever he was hiding in the vast emptiness of space. Showtime. Admiral Park received the message aboard his flagship, the Defiance. The ship hung invisible in the shadow of Jupiter's moon Europa, its stealth systems making it undetectable to any known scanning technology. Around him, 7,000 other human vessels waited in similar hiding places throughout the solar system. Park was an older man, gray-haired and calm, who had fought in 3 different colonial wars before taking command of Earth's defense forces. He understood something that the Galactic Council had never learned. The best battles are won before the enemy knows they are fighting. "All ships," he broadcast on the encrypted command channel. "This is Admiral Park. Today the Galactic Council learns why humans laugh at impossible odds. Today, they discover what happens when they threaten our families, our homes, and our freedom." He paused, looking out at the approaching alien fleet through his ship's sensors. "Today, they learn that humans don't surrender. We adapt. Remember, your training, trust your equipment, and show these aliens what human ingenuity can accomplish. Park out." War Prime Kelnos stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Cosmic Dominance, watching Earth grow larger on his screens. The blue planet looked so small and helpless, floating alone in the darkness without any sign of defense. "No human ships detected in the area," his sensor operator reported. "The system appears to be completely undefended. Scan for hidden vessels." Kelnos ordered, though he was not particularly worried. Council sensors were the most advanced in the galaxy. Nothing could hide from them. "Scanning complete, sir. No vessels detected beyond the 50 civilian ships in Earth orbit." Kelnos allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The humans had clearly decided not to fight, probably hoping to negotiate some kind of surrender terms that would let them keep some dignity. "Open a communication channel to Earth," he commanded. "I will personally accept their surrender." The channel opened, and President Kim Tae-ho's face appeared on the screen. The human leader looked calm and relaxed, as if he was discussing the weather rather than the fate of his entire species. "War Prime Kelnos," Kim said pleasantly. "I understand you've come to accept our surrender." "That is correct," Kelnos replied. "If you cooperate fully, this transition can be accomplished without bloodshed." Kim nodded thoughtfully. "That's very considerate of you. Just one question before we proceed." "What question?" The human president smiled, and something in that smile made Kelnos feel suddenly uneasy. "How long did you spend studying human history before you decided to invade us?" War Prime Kelnos stared at the human president's smiling face on his communication screen. The question hung in the air like a challenge, though Kelnos could not understand why. "Human history is irrelevant," Kelnos replied coldly. "Your surrender is what matters now. You have 1 hour to begin transferring control of your government to council authority." President Kim's smile grew wider. "I see. So you didn't study our history at all. That's unfortunate. You might have learned something useful." Such as what? Kelnos demanded, his patience wearing thin. Such as the fact that humans have never, in our entire existence, surrendered when we believed we were fighting for something important. Kim paused, his expression becoming more serious. And War Prime, nothing is more important to us than our freedom. The communication channel closed, leaving Kelno staring at a blank screen. Around him on the bridge, his officers waited for orders. "Sir?" his tactical officer asked. "Should we begin the bombardment?" Kelnos was about to give the order when his sensor operator called out urgently, "Sir, I'm reading weapons fire. One of our escort vessels just took heavy damage." "From where?" Kelnos spun around to look at the tactical display. "Show me." The display showed his fleet formation, with one ship flashing red to indicate severe damage. But there was nothing else visible that could have attacked it. "I don't understand, sir. The weapons fire came from empty space. Our sensors show nothing in that area." Before Kelnos could respond, another ship in his formation shuddered under impact. Then another. The attacks were coming from different directions, but the sensors still showed nothing but empty space. "This is impossible," Kelnos muttered. "Nothing can hide from our scanners." Commander Osubin smiled inside the bridge of her stealth destroyer, the Invisible Hand. The alien ships hung in space before her like targets in a shooting gallery, their massive size making them easy to hit even from long range. "Target there. Engines," she told her weapons officer, Lieutenant Kang Do-hyun. "We want them disabled, not destroyed, not yet." The Invisible Hand fired another volley of quantum phase projectiles. The strange weapons passed through the alien ship's energy shields, as if they did not exist, then exploded inside the target's hull where the shields could not protect them. "Direct hit on target's primary drive system," Do-hyun reported. "Enemy vessel is losing power." "Excellent. Move us to the next firing position." The stealth destroyer vanished from its current location and reappeared 3,000 kilometers away, completely invisible to the alien sensors. Around the Council fleet, 49 other human stealth ships were conducting similar attacks, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. War Prime Kelnos watched in growing alarm as his formation fell apart. Ships were taking damage from an enemy he could not see, could not target, could not fight. His fleet was the most powerful force in the galaxy, but how could you fight an invisible opponent? "All ships," he broadcast on the fleet command frequency. "Assume defensive formation Delta. Activate full spectrum scanning. Deploy sensor drones." The Council fleet pulled into a tight defensive circle, their ships so close together that enemy vessels could not appear between them without being detected. Thousands of small sensor drones launched from the larger ships, spreading out to create a detection net that should reveal any hidden attackers. Commander O watched the alien formation change through her ship's sensors. "They're adapting faster than expected," she told her bridge crew. "Time for lesson number 2. She activated her communication system and contacted Admiral Park. "Sir, the aliens have formed a defensive shell, requesting permission to activate." "The swarm protocol." Admiral Park's voice came back immediately. "Permission granted, Commander. Show them what human creativity looks like." O smiled and sent a coded signal to a seemingly empty area of space near Mars. "Wasp Squadron, you are cleared for activation. Happy hunting." The response came from Captain Ryujina, though her voice seemed to echo strangely. "Copy that, Invisible Hand. Wasps are launching now." What War Prime Kelnos had taken for asteroids and space debris suddenly came alive. Thousands of small objects that had been drifting silently through the solar system activated their engines and turned toward his fleet. They were tiny, each no larger than a fighter craft, but they moved with purpose and intelligence. "Sir," his sensor operator called out in panic. "I'm reading massive movement throughout the system. Small craft, thousands of them, all converging on our position." Kelnos looked at the tactical display and felt his blood turn cold. The dots representing incoming enemies filled the screen like a swarm of insects. "How many?" he asked quietly. "Still counting, sir. Current estimate is over 200,000 individual craft." The War Prime had fought many battles in his long career, but he had never seen anything like this. His fleet was designed to fight other fleets, capital ships against capital ships in organized formations. This was something completely different. All ships, he ordered, prepare point defense systems, target the small craft, destroy them before they can reach us. The Council fleet opened fire with thousands of weapons, lighting up space with energy beams and explosive projectiles. Many of the small human craft were destroyed, but there were so many of them that the losses barely mattered. Captain Ryujina watched the battle from her command ship, hidden among the debris of an asteroid field. Each of her wasps was an autonomous drone, programmed with simple instructions. Swarm the enemy, avoid their weapons when possible, and attack with focused precision. The drones were not trying to destroy the huge alien ships. Instead, they targeted specific systems, weapons arrays, sensor clusters, communication equipment, and engine controls. Each drone carried just enough firepower to damage a single system, but when hundreds of drones focused on one target, the effect was devastating. Wasp 7 Alpha to command, came a mechanical voice over the communication system. Target's main weapons are offline, moving to secondary objectives. Wasp 12, Charlie to command. Enemy communications array destroyed. Target is blind and mute. The reports kept coming as the swarm engulfed the alien fleet. The massive Council ships found themselves being stung to death by opponents too small to target effectively. War Prime Kelnos watched his flagship systems fail one by one. First the main guns went offline, then the long-range sensors, then the communication array. His ship was still intact, but it was rapidly becoming useless. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "we've lost contact with 60% of the fleet. Most of our remaining ships are reporting major system failures." "What? About our fighters?" Kelnos demanded. "Deploy all fighter squadrons to deal with these pests. Sir, our fighter bays are being specifically targeted. Most have been damaged or destroyed." Around the Council fleet, the invisible human destroyers continued their work. While the drones kept the aliens busy, the stealth ships targeted the larger vessels' critical systems. It was a coordinated attack unlike anything in galactic history. Lieutenant Kang Do-yun monitored the alien communications from his position aboard the Invisible Hand. "Commander," he reported to Osubin, "I'm intercepting enemy transmissions. They're trying to call for reinforcements." "Any luck reaching them?" "No, ma'am. Our cyber warfare specialists have completely compromised their communication systems. They're shouting into empty space." Specialist Nam Woojin was one of those cyber warfare experts, working from a hidden facility on Earth's moon. His job was to turn the aliens' own technology against them, and he was very good at his job. "Let's see what happens when I introduce a little chaos into their targeting computers," he muttered, his fingers dancing over his keyboard. Human mathematics was different from alien mathematics, based on chaos theory and quantum uncertainty, rather than the rigid logical systems the Council used. Throughout the alien fleet, weapon systems began to malfunction. Targeting computers that had been reliable for centuries suddenly could not lock onto targets. Navigation systems started reporting impossible readings. Even life support systems began to fluctuate unpredictably. Admiral Park Chung watched the battle unfold from his hidden flagship. The Defiance remained cloaked and invisible, observing as the Council fleet was slowly torn apart by forces they could not understand or counter. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the alien command ship. They're requesting immediate cessation of hostilities." "Are they surrendering?" Park asked. "Not exactly, sir. They're demanding to speak with you directly. The alien commander says he wants to understand what's happening." Park considered this for a moment, then nodded. "Put him through." War Prime Kelnos appeared on the main screen, his reptilian features showing confusion and growing fear. "Human commander," he said, his voice strained, "explain this treachery. How do you hide your ships from our sensors?" Admiral Park smiled, calmly. "War Prime, there's no treachery here. We told you exactly what we were going to do. We said humans don't surrender. We said we don't play by your rules. Did you think we were lying?" "Your technology should not be capable of this," Kelnos insisted. "Our intelligence reports show your weapons are primitive, your ships are inferior." "Your intelligence reports?" Show exactly what we wanted them to show, Park replied. High Counselor Vextar paced back and forth in his private chambers aboard the Convergence. The reports from War Prime Kelnos made no sense. How could a primitive species with inferior technology be defeating the most powerful fleet in Galactic? History? Show me the tactical analysis again, he ordered his aide. The holographic display activated, showing the current state of the Council fleet. Red indicators marked damaged or destroyed vessels, yellow showed ships with reduced capability, and green represented fully operational units. There was far too much red and yellow, not nearly enough green. Over 30,000 ships have suffered significant damage, the aide reported nervously. We have lost complete contact with 8,000 vessels. They may be destroyed or simply unable to communicate. Vextar stopped pacing and stared at the display. What are our tactical experts saying about human capabilities? They're confused, High Counselor. The humans appear to have developed several technologies that shouldn't be possible with their known scientific knowledge. Stealth systems that fool our best sensors, weapons that ignore energy shields, and coordination between small craft that suggest artificial intelligence far beyond what we believed they possessed. The High Counselor's forearms gestured in frustration. Are you telling me that our intelligence network, which has monitored human development for 50 years, has been completely wrong about their capabilities? Before the aide could answer, an emergency communication signal interrupted them. War Prime Kelnos appeared on the screen, his usually proud demeanor replaced by obvious strain. High Counselor, Kelnos said, I must report that our initial assault has encountered unexpected resistance. The humans have deployed tactics and technologies that do not match our intelligence estimates. I can see that from the casualty reports, Vextar replied coldly. What I want to know is how a supposedly primitive species has managed to damage over half of your fleet. Kelnos was quiet for a moment before answering. High Counselor, I believe we have been deliberately deceived. The humans have been hiding their true capabilities for decades. This entire war appears to have been planned from the moment they made first contact with the Council. Dr. Yoon Mina stood in the command center deep beneath Geneva, surrounded by screens showing the battle in space. As Earth's chief science officer, she had spent the last 20 years developing the technologies that were now saving humanity. How are the stealth systems holding up? She asked her team. Perfect so far, replied her assistant, Dr. Park Ji-young. The aliens still can't detect our ships. Their sensors are designed to find large energy signatures and metal hulls. Our quantum displacement fields make us invisible to both. Dr. Yoon nodded with satisfaction. The stealth technology had been her greatest challenge. It didn't just hide human ships, it bent space around them so they existed slightly outside normal reality. To alien sensors, the ships simply weren't there. What about the drone swarms? Operating at 93% efficiency, another scientist reported. We're losing drones to enemy fire, but production is keeping up with losses. The automated factories are producing new units faster than the aliens can destroy them. President Kim Tae-ho joined them in the command center, having come down from his office to watch the battle firsthand. Dr. Yoon, how long can we maintain this level of combat? Indefinitely, Mr. President, she replied confidently. Our ships are designed for extended operations without resupply. The drone swarms are self-sustaining as long as there's raw material to work with, and space has plenty of asteroids. Kim smiled grimly. And the aliens? Their fleet is designed for short, decisive battles against conventional opponents. They're burning through ammunition and power at an unsustainable rate trying to fight enemies they can't see and hit. On space, Captain Ryujina coordinated her drone swarms with the precision of a master conductor. Each group of drones had a specific target and mission, but they all worked together toward the same goal: disable the alien fleet without destroying it completely. Swarm 7, she called out. Focus on the command ship's sensor arrays. Swarm 12. Hit the weapons platforms on the port side. The tiny drones responded instantly, flowing around the massive alien vessels like schools of deadly fish. They were too small for most weapons to target effectively, too numerous to stop with point defenses, and too intelligent to fall for the same trick twice. War Prime Kelnos watched in growing despair as his flagship was slowly taken apart by enemies the size of insects. His weapons could destroy them, but only if they could target them, and there were always more drones than he had weapons. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the human drones are learning our defensive patterns. They're adapting their attack strategies in real time." "How is that possible?" Kelnos demanded. "Unknown, sir. It's as if each drone can instantly share information with all the others." What Kelnos didn't know was that the drones were controlled by an artificial intelligence network that spanned the entire solar system. Every drone was connected to every other drone, sharing tactical data and coordinating attacks with inhuman precision. Specialist Nam Woo-jin continued his cyber warfare campaign from his hidden bunker on the moon. He had penetrated deep into the alien computer networks, and what he found there surprised him. "They're using quantum encryption," he muttered to his colleague, Specialist Lee Daeho. "Very sophisticated, probably unbreakable by conventional methods." "So how are you breaking it?" Lee asked. Nam grinned. "I'm not breaking it, I'm confusing it. Their quantum computers expect logical, ordered data inputs. I'm feeding them chaos mathematics and probability cascades. The computers are spending all their processing power trying to make sense of impossible data. The result was that alien ships throughout the fleet were experiencing computer failures. Navigation systems gave contradictory readings, weapons wouldn't fire when ordered, and life support systems cycled unpredictably. Admiral Park Seung observed all of this from his cloaked flagship, waiting for the right moment to reveal himself. The Defiance was the most advanced ship in the human fleet, incorporating 50 years of secret research and development. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're receiving another message from the alien commander. He's asking to negotiate." "Is he surrendering?" Park asked. "No, sir. He's offering what he calls a tactical pause to discuss terms." Admiral Park considered this. The alien fleet was badly damaged but not destroyed. If they managed to retreat and call for reinforcements, the situation could become much more difficult. "Open the channel," he decided. War Prime Kelnos appeared on the screen again, this time looking significantly less confident than before. "Admiral Park," he said, "I propose we stop this battle to discuss a peaceful resolution." "What kind of resolution?" Park asked. "The Council is prepared to modify our original demands. Perhaps we can reach an agreement that allows humans to maintain some degree of autonomy while still ensuring galactic stability." Admiral Park shook his head. "War Prime, I think you misunderstand the situation. You came here to force us to surrender. We declined. Now you're losing badly and want to negotiate. But here's the thing. We're not interested in compromise." "Then what do you want?" "Complete withdrawal of all Council forces from human space, recognition of human independence and sovereignty, and a formal apology for this unprovoked attack on our civilization." Kelnos's reptilian features showed shock. "That's impossible. The Council does not apologize to anyone. We certainly do not withdraw from territories we have claimed." "Then I guess we continue fighting," Park said calmly. "And War Prime? This is just day one. We're prepared to keep this up for as long as necessary." High Counselor Vextar, monitoring the conversation from his own ship, felt something he had never experienced in his 300 years of life: doubt. The humans were not behaving like any species he had ever encountered. They should have been begging for mercy by now, not making demands. "Summon the full council," he ordered his aide. "Emergency session in 1 hour." As the council members gathered, in their great chamber, the battle in space continued. Human drones swarmed over alien ships like antibodies attacking an infection. Invisible destroyers appeared and disappeared, striking at critical targets before vanishing again. And throughout it all, the humans maintained perfect coordination and discipline. Dr. Yoon Mina received reports from the battlefield with quiet satisfaction. Every system was working as designed, every tactic was proceeding according to plan. But the most important phase of the operation was yet to come. "Dr. Yoon," President Kim said, "how long before we can activate the final protocol?" She checked her instruments carefully before answering. Another 6 hours, Mr. President. The enemy needs to be completely engaged and committed before we reveal the last surprise. Kim nodded. The humans had shown the aliens 3 lessons so far: stealth technology that made their ships invisible, swarm tactics that overwhelmed traditional defenses, and cyber warfare that turned enemy systems against themselves. But the 4th lesson would be the most important one. It would show the Galactic Council that humans didn't just fight differently. They thought differently about war itself. In space, War Prime Kilnos tried one more desperate gambit. The emergency session of the Galactic Council took place while the battle raged in the Sol system. 12 species that had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years gathered to discuss something that had never happened before: defeat. High Counselor. Vextar stood in the center of the chamber, his 4 arms spread wide as he addressed the assembly. Council members, we face an unprecedented situation. War Prime Kelnos reports that over 40% of our fleet has been disabled or destroyed. The humans refuse all attempts at negotiation. The crystal being that represented the shard collective chimed angrily. How is this possible? Our intelligence indicated that humans were a primitive species with limited military capability. Our intelligence was wrong, Vexitar admitted. Or rather, it was deliberately fed false information. The humans have been preparing for this conflict since first contact. Counselor Mordak, the blue-furred representative, raised 2 of his 6 legs. What do you propose we do? Summon more fleets? The humans control only a tiny portion of the galaxy. We can bring millions of ships against them. That may not be wise, Vextar said carefully. There are other factors to consider. Before he could explain, an aide rushed into the chamber carrying an urgent message tablet. High Counselor, the aide said breathlessly. Priority communication from Hegemony Prime. It's marked as critical emergency. Vextar took the tablet and read the message. His yellow eyes grew wide, and his usually gray skin took on a pale, almost white coloration. What is it? Counselor Mordak demanded. Vextar looked up at the assembled council members. A human vessel has appeared in orbit above my homeworld. A massive ship, larger than anything in our intelligence files. They are requesting immediate surrender of all hegemony forces. The chamber erupted in confused chatter. How had a human ship traveled 200 light-years to reach the hegemony homeworld while their fleet was engaged at Earth? The answer came from Captain Song Yerim, commander of the human dreadnought Paradigm Shift. Her ship hung motionless above the beautiful blue-green world that was home to 40 billion hegemony citizens. This is Captain Song of the Earth Defense Force, she broadcast on all frequencies. I am here to deliver a message to the Galactic Council. While you have been attacking our homeworld, we have positioned vessels above each of your homeworlds. 12 ships, 12 worlds. I trust the mathematics are clear. Back in the council chamber, 11 more urgent messages arrived in rapid succession. Every council member species was reporting the same thing. A massive human warship in orbit, above their most important world, requesting immediate surrender. This is impossible, the insect representative clicked frantically. How did they reach our worlds without using the standard hyperspace routes? We monitor all galactic traffic. Dr. Yoon Mina could have answered that question, but she was busy in her laboratory beneath Geneva, monitoring the final phase of humanity's plan. The quantum displacement technology that hid their ships from sensors also allowed them to travel through folded space, bypassing the hyperspace networks entirely. All ships report successful arrival at target destinations, she informed President Kim. Phase 4 is complete. Kim nodded grimly. And our negotiating position? Significantly improved, Mr. President. Admiral Park Seung chose that moment to finally reveal his flagship. The Defiance materialized in the center of the Council fleet, its massive bulk dwarfing even the largest alien vessels. The ship's hull was black as space itself, covered in weapon systems that no alien had ever seen before. War Prime Kelnos stared at the human flagship in shock. Where did that come from? He demanded. How long has it been there? Since before your fleet arrived, Admiral Park's voice answered over the communication channel. "We've been watching you, learning your tactics, studying your weaknesses. War Prime, you never had a chance of winning this battle." The alien commander felt his confidence crumble completely. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. "I want you to contact High Counselor Vextar," Park replied. "Tell him it's time for some honest negotiations." In the council chamber, Vextar received Kelnos's message with growing dread. The situation was far worse than he had imagined. Not only were the humans winning the battle at Earth, but they had somehow managed to threaten every council homeworld simultaneously. High Counselor called, "Counselor Morduck, what are your orders? Do we negotiate or do we call for more fleets?" Before Vextar could answer, another message arrived from Captain Song Yerim. This one was broadcast to all council worlds simultaneously. "Members of the Galactic Council," Song's voice carried clearly through space, "you have made a serious error in judgment. You assumed that because humanity is young, we are weak. You assumed that because we are small, we are helpless. You assumed that because we laugh, we are not serious." She paused, letting her words sink in before continuing. "You were wrong on all counts. We are young, but we learn quickly. We are small, but we are united. And we laugh because we find it amusing when ancient empires make the same mistake that every bully in human history has made, assuming that might makes right." Captain Song manipulated her ship's sensors to show the council fleets surrounding each homeworld. The display revealed that each human vessel was surrounded by hundreds of alien ships, but none of them were taking action. "Your fleets are afraid to attack us because they know we could destroy your homeworlds before they could stop us. That fear is the beginning of wisdom. Learn from it." Ambassador Lee Hanna, who had started this entire crisis with her laughter at the Council's ultimatum, now found herself back aboard the Convergence for very different negotiations. High Counselor Vextar sat across from her, but his posture was no longer domineering. His forearms were folded carefully, and his yellow eyes showed something Lee had never seen before. "Respect." "Ambassador," Vextar said quietly, "perhaps we should discuss new arrangements." Lee smiled the same smile she had worn when she first heard the Council's demands. "I'm listening, High Counselor. The Council is prepared to recognize human independence and sovereignty over all currently claimed territories. We will withdraw our fleets and acknowledge Earth's right to self-governance." "That's a good start," Lee replied, "but it's not enough." Vexitar's skin grew even paler. "What more do you want?" "Fundamental reform of the Council system. No more ultimatums to young species. No more forced protection for civilizations that prefer independence. Equal representation for all species regardless of age or size." The High Counselor was quiet for a long moment. Around the galaxy, 12 human ships waited patiently above 12 homeworlds while their leaders decided the future of galactic civilization. "If we refuse?" Vexitar asked. "Then humanity withdraws from galactic society completely," Lee answered. "We'll take our colonies, our trade, our technology, and our friendship, and we'll build our own alliance with the 17 other species who have already contacted us about joining a more democratic confederation." Vextar looked shocked. 17 species? 18, actually. We got another application while you were attacking Earth. It seems there are quite a few civilizations who are tired of being told what to do by ancient empires. The negotiations continued for 6 hours. In the end, the document they signed became known throughout the galaxy as the Sol Accords. It restructured galactic governance, established rights for all species, and created a true democratic confederation to replace the old council system. President Kim Tae-ho signed the accords in his office on Earth, surrounded by representatives from every human colony. As he put down his pen, he looked up at Admiral Park, who had returned from the battle. "Well, Admiral," Kim said with a slight smile, "that could have gone worse." Park chuckled. "Mr. President, when the Council first demanded our surrender, did you ever imagine it would end like this? With us restructuring galactic civilization instead of being conquered?" Kim shook his head. "No, Admiral. I have to admit I didn't see that coming." Dr. Yoon Mina entered the office, carrying a tablet with the final battle statistics. "Mr. President, I have the damage report from the engagement." "How bad?" Kim asked. "Human losses, 47 drones destroyed, minor damage to 3 stealth destroyers, no personnel casualties. Enemy losses over 35,000 vessels disabled, 8,000 completely destroyed, estimated 500,000 casualties." Admiral Park whistled softly. "Those numbers don't seem real." "They're real," Dr. Yoon confirmed. "The aliens came prepared to fight the war they understood. We fought the war we trained for. The results speak for themselves." 6 months later, Ambassador Lee Hanna stood in the new Galactic Assembly, watching representatives from over 200 species debate trade agreements and scientific cooperation. The old council chamber had been converted into a genuine democratic forum where every voice carried equal weight. High Counselor Vextar, now simply Counselor Vextar, approached her during a recess. "Ambassador Lee," he said formally, "I wanted to thank you for your patience during our transition to the new system." Lee smiled at him warmly. "Counselor, I think this arrangement works much better for everyone." "Indeed. Though I must ask, when you first laughed at our ultimatum, did you know it would lead to all of this?" Lee thought about the question carefully before answering. "Counselor, humans have a saying,